Dunedin TV presents your local weekly morning show from delightfully different Dunedin. Featuring Justin Cataccio with Caitlin Hart. Including a musical performance by a local artist, an in-depth conversation with people in the know. This is Good Morning Dunedin.
This week on Good Morning Dunedin. Today is Heart Health and National Wear Red Day. Dunedin History Museum Director Vinnie Luisi comes to talk about Black History Month. We meet up with artist Robin Hedman in this week's Art Corner. And the Mayor of Dunedin joins the show to talk about the acquisition of the Gladys Douglas Property and the next steps. And lastly, Quick Nick's All-Star Jam Band share their musical talents. All of this and more is coming up this morning on Good Morning Dunedin! Welcome back to your favorite little local morning show. I'm your host, Justin Cataccio, and I'm here with my co-host, Caitlin Hart. Thank you for joining us today, whether on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or on our local Dunedin cable channels 15 and 639. However you found us today, thanks for watching your favorite little local morning show. So as I mentioned, today is National Heart Health Day, so be sure to support the cause and wear red. I got my red tie on. Caitlin, looks like you got something red on.
Yes, I got my red and buff shirt, so I got the 2-in-1. But yeah, today is
Heart Healthy Day, right? So
Heart Healthy Day. No.
Heart, hey, look at that. All right, Caitlin, what have you been up to?
Well, let's see. I finally so I had this dresser that my great grandmother's father made. And that got passed down to me, so I just gave it a fresh coat of paint this past week.
Oh.
Bought some new knobs to kind of make it a little more modern.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, I love it.
Crafty.
It's so much better.
Caitlin's Crafty Corner.
Yeah.
Like a very productive weekend.
I enjoyed it.
You've
I
been
was
house
very
hunting.
excited.
How's that going?
Yes. I think we found one. We're gonna go check out a couple more, like little apartments and stuff. So,
Cool.
I think we found the one. So
All right,
we'll
that's exciting.
And move
In
on to the
Dunedin?
next.
No.
Not Dunedin.
Oh, no.
We have to venture out a little further.
Well, there's no affordable housing in this city. Let me tell you, that's a whole issue.
That too.
Well, that sounds like you had a busy weekend.
Yeah.
So my weekend, I did a roadside litter pickup with my daughter, JC, to help clean up the neighborhood. We enjoy volunteering our time and really helping clean up the community, and we have a good time doing it. And I feel like this is something that I've been wanting to mention for a while. I've been trying to figure out what to call it and how to get it promoted, but it's a model citizen. So, like, the litter pickup that we did is something that a model citizen would do. And I kind of wanted to start this segment and asking people, what do you think is a model citizen behavior, like going around picking up litter in your neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start asking people. I'm gonna ask you first, Caitlin. I know you're unprepared for this, but
Totally.
what do you think makes someone a model citizen?
Just helping out other citizens in the neighborhood. If you see someone struggling with their groceries, if you see an older person, trying to work on their yard or carry something heavy to the road,
Being a
you
good
can
neighbor.
you can always go check in with them, see if they need any help. But yeah, the litter, that's like one of the main things that we definitely need going around in different neighborhoods and areas.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there. If you guys want to pitch in and let us know what you think makes a model citizen. Groundhog's Day was this
Yes,
week.
I saw that.
Did you hear the news?
I heard the news, but I mainly saw a bunch about the palm trees. So like when the palm tree sees its shadow
really?
instead of the groundhog, because we're in Florida.
Right.
So it's a bunch
Well, I
of people
heard the
make
groundhog
jokes.
saw a shadow, and that means 6 more weeks of winter. Which in
Yes.
Florida, I don't mind so much.
Because it's not
Because
that
of
horrible. Well, so there are so many opportunities for people to get involved. Justin, what else is going on in the community this week?
Well, persistence paid off for the partners involved in the Gladys Douglas Hackworth property. They have raised enough money to buy the 44-acre site at the corner of Virginia Avenue and Keene Road.
That is so exciting. I've been hearing all about that. So I'm excited for that and see what it has going on. The future is definitely bright for this property, and officials have now had the responsibility to build a 5-year plan for the improvements on the property that involves the passive recreation.
We're going to have the Mayor of Dunedin on in a little bit to talk about that future plan and a little bit more about the Gladys Douglas property. Also, the Toronto Blue Jays may be calling Dunedin home to start their season. If travel restrictions keep up, the MLB team in Toronto, their top choice appears to be playing their regular season games at their spring training home here in Dunedin.
And that is some more exciting news. Oh my gosh, I love going to the Blue Jays games here, so that's always fun. We also want to mention it is Love Your Library Month. You can visit the Dunedin Public Library this week to find out all the new resources available to you and your family. So we can't forget to mention also that the Super Bowl is this weekend. So go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Definitely had to wear my Super Bowl Buccaneers shirt today.
I don't really have any Bucks apparel. That's unfortunate. All right, so go Bucks, and we're gonna take a quick break, and please enjoy this message from the city of Dunedin. And when we come back, we'll be joined with our first guest, Vinnie Luisi from the Dunedin History Museum, to talk about what they are doing for Black History Month. Welcome back to Good Morning Dunedin. We're joined today with Vinnie Luisi, the director of the Dunedin History Museum. Welcome to the show, Vinnie.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Vinnie, can you tell us a little bit about your role as the director of the History Museum?
Sure. My role here at the museum is to make sure that, one, we're financially going through a process with everybody with COVID, so I do a lot of grant work. And during that grant work, I also do grants to improve exhibits and projects. And the one grant I just received in December is what we're going to be talking about.
So February is Black History Month.
Yes, happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Happy Black History Month to you. We love celebrating our Black people in Dunedin. And we've been doing a story with you for a few years called Dunedin Through the Years, where we've interviewed some historic Black figures in Dunedin at Shiloh Baptist Church. And can you tell us a little bit about that whole project?
When we started that project, I envisioned a lot more than what we did. We started something that was going to be a grant. And what we did is filmed, as you know, with you and your staff, over 20 hours of video history of prominent African Americans within the community of Dunedin that have lived in the Black community from the 1920s through the 1970s. And we gained an amazing amount of footage of people's experiences, knowledge, and things that went on that I think many people would be surprised about and learn and have an experience that they've expected before.
So what are some of the things that you learned about Dunedin's history?
Well, first of all, with the African American community, as you know, Florida being part of the South, as through the United States, through all that time, there were the Jim Crow laws or segregation. And truly, Dunedin, although they were fairly fair as a community to their neighbors in the community, which virtually was on the other side of the railroad tracks, there was still that separation. The community of African Americans worked within the community, worked with some of the prominent members on Victoria Drive doing gardening or work around their homes. Many of them worked within the African American community. But the biggest thing is that community that was in around Jackson Street and by where today the water plant is, was an amazing tight bond of families that cared about each other, took care of each other, and did everything as a community.
Segregation wasn't something that we were fighting about or nothing like that here, because the people that our parents, my grandparents and your people worked for, they didn't treat them bad. They treated them good.
I recall vividly my father taking my brother and myself to McCory's, Dunedin and Clearwater. We couldn't go to the counter to get a hamburger. You could smell the fragrance of onions and hamburgers. And you ask your dad, can we have? Boy, shut up. Wait till you get home. Well, I knew doggone well there wasn't no hamburgers at home. I wanted one then, you know. But he knew that
You couldn't do it.
couldn't do it.
We didn't go anywhere to eat with the whites. I don't remember us going out, do you? Mm-mm. The only time I remember when they finally built the McDonald's, we used to go to and pick, go big, we could go in there and stuff. But to go to a restaurant and eat, like it was a Morrison right downtown, but we were not allowed to go there.
And my grandfather told me that it was a hanging here. Somewhere down there where the fish market is, down there,
Yeah.
he said, that house right there,
Yes.
there was a fence around that, where that old motel was.
Yes.
It was a big house there with a fence around it. Yeah. And he said he was sitting on the fence when they hung a man down there. Yeah. And do you remember that? No. Well, he told me that. He said they were, and he said I fell off the fence when I saw this happen.
It was the same as it was here in Dunedin. They were segregated up there. If you went to the movie, it was the same thing upstairs for blacks, whites, whatever, whites down.
We had one water fountain was for the black and one was for the white. I remember that. The bathroom the same way.
With me being reared by, my great grandmother, she was very strict and, and she was very disciplinary. You did exactly what you were told to do. And if that was something that she had been told that, you were not allowed to do, then, that's what you did.
Well, and my parents were the same. You did what you were told. What, they didn't. You don't go such and certain places. You don't do this, you don't do that.
Sometimes I would hear, overhear people say, boy, we had to get out of Palm Harbor. Those white people, the Ku Klux Klans, they got after them. And they have signs up. What were the signs?
No niggers.
No niggers, no
No
dog,
Jews,
no
dog.
no. I mean, if you go into Topping Springs, make sure you don't give out of gas and keep going. I mean, these are the stories I heard the older people talking about. But it's true.
They were there.
It was true.
We'll see the value in this documentary and allow it to be shown in schools.
That's a great goal. So we've only got a couple more minutes with you, Vinnie, but why don't we talk about some of the ways people can visit the museum and your hours and things like that?
Sure. First of all, a lot of people don't know, and I want to make it clear, we're downtown Dunedin at 349 Main Street. We're right adjacent to the Pinellas Trail. We're in front of the 3 statues of the conductor, mother, and daughter. That's our entranceway to the museum. Right now, due to COVID, we've limited our hours. You must wear a mask to come in, and our hours are Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 4 p.m. There's a slight admission charge, and it varies in the rate anywhere from $1 to $5, and all members of the museum, and we want everybody to become a member, is free. If you're a member, it's free to come in as much as you'd like. And we have exhibits related all to Dunedin's history, from its early beginnings through its citrus history, railroading history, our hog history of why we talk about hogs. And we also have a temporary gallery in March, which for 1 year will have an exhibit called Century of Storms, and it commemorates the 100th anniversary of the 1921 hurricane in Pinellas County, which to this day was the worst hurricane we've ever had.
Is that the hurricane that made Hurricane Pass? Is that the same hurricane?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Same hurricane, yes. So,
Separated Huntington
and
Island
lots
and
of,
Caladesi, right?
We talked
and
about Hog
Caladesi.
Island as well.
Yeah.
Now speaking
And
of
Hog
masks,
Island, yeah.
speaking of masks, I know you guys sell some pretty neat ones there.
You still have any
Yes,
left?
we do. We do have a brand new gift shop when we renovated the museum in the last 2 years. And as I said, our exhibits are of the most professional quality you're going to see. I guarantee you everyone that comes is going to be impressed with the museum. But our gift shop is even more impressive. We have homemade masks by one of our volunteers who's a seamstress. We have homemade bags, pocketbook bags or beach bags. Mask, doggy mask, beach bag mask, Florida map mask, orange mask,
Orange is
oranges.
my
Don't
favorite.
forget
Yes,
oranges.
for sure.
That's it, oranges.
Yeah, we were just talking
So
about that
we
a little
have-
earlier about the mask.
Yeah,
So I haven't
we
been
have-
in there in a minute. I want to go check some out again.
Well, you have to come. We have some great things, some brand new raincoat ponchos, and we have, again, kind of celebrating the weather changes. And so we have jewelry, anything that you think you would want, touristy or just fashion, it's here at our gift shop.
Well, all right. Well, thank you, Vinnie, for coming on the show today. And we're really looking forward to your new exhibit on Dunedin's Black History.
I'd like to thank you guys, because without you filming all this documentary, I wouldn't have anything to work with. So thank you for your whole staff on that. And I really look forward to, in the next couple of months, having this gallery ready for everybody to see.
All right, Vinnie. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just want to thank you and say good morning, Dunedin.
All right. All right. Well, thanks, Vinnie. All right. We are going to take a quick break. And when we return, we will come back with Robin Hedman in this week's Art Corner. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Good Morning Dunedin. Now let's go to Seth in this week's Art Corner, where he caught up with photographer Robin Hedman.
My name is Robin Hedman. I am an elementary school teacher at Ozona Elementary and a local Dunedinite. For fun, I take pictures of classic cars. It's a passion of mine, and I've been doing it for quite a while now. So the reason I started taking pictures of cars was I love the details. I love the era. I love the music. I think there's just so much to be said for how things used to be. And I think it's a lost art. So in 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was stuck on the couch quarantining before quarantining was a thing. And there was a lot of things I couldn't do. being a social person, as much as I am, I had to find a way to get out and do something. So I grabbed the camera, I found a local car show in Lakeland, and I went to shoot pictures. I found that every weekend I was doing it more and more often. It made me smile, it took my mind off all that was happening at the time, and I think it really helped me get better and motivate me to kick cancer, so to speak. So I am a survivor, and the one good thing that came out of that, and there are a few, is the photography that I do today.
I noticed when you were taking photos that you had a very intent eye on detail as opposed to like the whole car.
I have found by looking at my own pictures that that is my style of photography. I really like to zone in on the details of these cars that I found. I find it is so incredible, the detail that they used to take the time and put into every car. Not that there aren't details today, they're just different types of details. From the winged tail fins to the colors of the interior to the hood ornaments that are my true passion. I'm in search of as many hood ornaments as I can find, and I'm close to 100 thus far. I think art is extremely important. It is historical. Art has been around since the age of man. I think that it allows us to see things through different people's eyes. As a teacher, we're constantly teaching diversity and culture and how important that is today more than ever. And I think seeing art through someone can create a feeling, an emotion, can help you connect with whatever you may be going through at that time or something that you may enjoy at that time. It may open your eyes to something you didn't even know about, and you may learn something simply through a mural, through a photograph, through a sculpture, through something as simple as a painted rock. Anything that makes someone smile, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with that. That's what life is all about.
What is your favorite car that you've photographed?
My favorite car is the car that I haven't found yet. I'm constantly on the search for new things. I'm amazed at how many car shows I go to, and I always find a car that I've not heard of, not seen, and I think it's fantastic. I'm constantly learning, and I think as we get older, we should all be learning new things. I also am inspired by the history of it all. Why did it not last? Why did it last? The other thing with cars is we all have a story. I was so passionate about my first car and how excited I was to get behind the wheel and drive. And I think I feel that way today. I think a lot of people, when they see a photograph, it brings them back to a moment in time of either their grandparents' car, their family car, their car they had when they first had kids, or when they got married, maybe a trip. So if it connects you to a moment in time and makes you smile, I think that is absolutely thrilling, and that's what I hope my photographs do for people. I am thrilled to be part of Dunedin and be a local Dunedinite. I have grown up in this area, and I've always been drawn to Dunedin. I think the people are amazing, and I think there really isn't a better town for art than this town that we live in. And I hope it continues to grow. I know it's grown a lot in the past few years, and I think it's extremely exciting that the city supports that and we continue to grow as an artistic community. Good morning, Dunedin.
Dunedin Fire Rescue supports the Tampa Bay Bucks. Go Bucks! Go Bucks! Go Bucks! Number one!
Welcome back to Good Morning Dunedin. With me is the Mayor of Dunedin, Julie Ward Bujalski. Welcome to the show, Mayor.
Thanks for having me, Justin. Really happy to be here.
It's good to have you on the show finally. I feel like we haven't ever had you on as a guest.
No, but I've been watching and I'm really excited about what you've been doing with the show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. So can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Gladys Douglas property that we just that we're acquiring?
Getting ready to acquire.
Yeah. Give us an update on that. Yeah.
So as far as the property goes, it's belonged to the Douglas family for years. And they've preserved it and not been open to the public. But as far as we go, Gladys Douglas Hackworth, of course, passed away last year. And she had a strong desire of wanting to preserve it. Her stepson, Bob Hackworth, approached the city and the county, and we all started working together. It was kind of a slow process, right? You know, and it wasn't going too well. I think COVID hit and kind of slowed everything down, and the estate decided they wanted to sell the property. And of course, that didn't go over well in the community, as we've all seen. So with just a lot of good luck, I guess, to get a second chance that the developer pulled out, we were able to work with the county. Jennifer was a bulldog with County Administrator Barry Burton. And of course, our commission and myself were reaching out to all the county commissioners. And then we had a really wonderful group of citizen advocates that just worked hard, picketing, raising money, making t-shirts, social media, everything else. So it's just been a real blessing to see how we've all come together. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what happened with the hammock park.
Yes.
5 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And the community has really rallied behind this cause of saving and preserving land.
Yes.
You know, Pinellas County is a fairly small county, and it's really highly populated, dense, and any kind of parks we can preserve.
Right. It's very important to our community, the green space. And you know, Dunedin has a long history of preservation. We had a mayor, Ed Eckert, who helped preserve the hammock and Highlander Park. And then we had Mayor Jerry Rem, who got the Honeymoon Island to be a state park and Caladisi also to be preserved. And then we had Mayor Bob Hackworth, who worked really hard on Weaver Park. And now we have this. So it's definitely...
It all starts in parks,
It
right?
does. It does. It all starts in parks.
All right. So now that we are really close to acquiring the property in conjunction with the county.
Yes.
So will it be county or will it be Dunedin?
It's my understanding that it's going to be Dunedin. It's going to be annexed in.
Okay.
But we are still going to remain having a partnership with the county in some form or another. It's still to be negotiated. But with essentially a 100-acre preserve, a small city of 38,000 out of a county of 1 million, we don't have that kind of financial wherewithal to do the capital improvements that are needed and to maintain it, because it takes bodies.
Yeah, well, that's my next question. Part of the land is Swift Mud.
Yes.
Which will stay Swift Mud.
For now, but we are really pursuing purchasing that lake. We have an agreement with Swift Mud to do a maintenance and use agreement with them for the next 10 years. But you know, the value of land goes up.
Yeah.
And so the value today won't be much less than what it is in 10 years. So I think we feel generally important, that it's generally important to try to acquire it now if we can, if we're going to be maintaining it anyway, at the lower property values. And to just make sure the whole 100 acres is signed, sealed, and delivered. And you know, once that's all rezoned, I don't know if folks at home know this, but in Dunedin City Charter, anything that's zoned parkland or recreation, the city cannot sell without going to a referendum of the full citizenry. So once it's rezoned, it's basically protected for life unless the residents want to see us sell it. So that's another reason I want to get that lake under our total control, because I think it's really important.
So that leads me to my next question about what the future holds for the property. Do we have like a 5-year plan? Are we going to be building trails, or
so the thing we want to do is create that 5-year plan. I know our team is already working on that. We had applied to the state for an FCT grant, Florida Communities Trust grant. We hope we can get that. That'll give us an initial $1 million or so to start the improvements. But as part of that, we had to put different amenities in there as part of the application. And the amenities would be a canoe and kayak launch, because we don't want any power boats on the lake, an observation tower and some trails and that type of thing. We'll have to build a small parking lot. But the very first thing we're going to need to do is sort of what I call, and it's probably not the right term, but an environmental survey. Because we've got to go through there and determine all the, and mark off all the real environmental sensitive lands.
Right. The scrub, the
rosemary scrub and the rosemary bald, and then there's, while it may not, the gopher tortoises, and it may not be environmentally issue, but there's this beautiful just layer in certain areas of deer moss. That's not the technical name, but there's all different kinds, and people like to call it Florida snow because that's what it looks like all over the ground. And so the only reason we can even see it at this point is because of, unfortunately, the developer previously had gone through with bulldozers. And so there is kind of a trail that you can access, but the rest of it you can't get through without a machete.
Right.
So all of that has kind of gotten to go through with a fine-tooth comb, roped off, and determine where we can put trails. It's not going to hurt the environment. And we want the kind of trails that are not invasive, but that will also keep people out of it. So there may be some boardwalk, which of course is not inexpensive to do. We also want to do things like, we just toured the president of St. Pete College last Saturday. And they have a biology program and an environmental studies program. And so we're also talking about having some kind of a relationship with educational facilities where they can bring students in to study and maybe kind of mark what these plants and animals look like now and how many of them are there, so it can be tracked and studied over time. Because there's bobcat, coyote.
Really? It is a large plot of land.
Yes, 44 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot to do, but we're working on that 5-year plan. And then we'll take that 5-year plan and go to the county and talk about who does what.
Right.
And of course, like I say, in case anybody from the county, Dave Eggers, hint, hint, is watching, they absolutely have more access to resources than we do. So we're hoping they'll play a big role, and I think that they will ongoing.
They've been a good partner with us so far. So.
Another thing that's out there is a home. It's a
Right.
2-story home. It's a beautiful home. And at some point or another, we'd love to see that turned into an environmental education center. As probably most of our residents know, we are known for our Dunedin camps for our kids, and they, even when I was a kid, when Mayor Hackworth was a kid, we were all took part in those programs. And one of the most popular camps is our hammock camp.
Right. Nature camp.
Now, and our nature camp. So now we can kind of expand that at some point over to the Gladys Douglas Hackworth property. And, I just see some really, really cool things that we can do over the next 5 or 10 years. But all remains to be seen.
Yeah, well, we're real close. Is there, let's give the people at home the website again where they can donate.
Yes, it's the Pinellas Community Foundation, and you go on there and you search for the item in the Pinellas Community Foundation that you want, and that's Save the Gladys Douglas Property. We are going to continue to take donations to go towards the lake and future capital improvements. And again, the government's going to do their part in putting as much money as they can, because we want to try to get it open as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a big thing. So thank you everybody for participating and putting your money where your mouth is and where your checkbook was. This is an exciting day. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Mayor, for coming on the show this morning. And
happy to be here.
Telling us a little bit more about the Gladys Douglas property. And
thank you, Justin.
I appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it's time for some birthday shout-outs and this week's musical guest. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Good Morning Dunedin.
It's time for some birthday shout-outs. Happy birthday, Kurt! Kurt is a friend of the Nina Hospitality Trio and owner of Cara and Jack Polino's. Happy birthday, Kurt! Happy birthday to Terry! Terry is a film enthusiast and actor in Dunedin, Florida. Happy birthday! Happy birthday to Kumpa! Kumpa is a local sculpture artist and guest of Good Morning Dunedin. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to Sylvia. Sylvia is the owner of CC Riders. She's a wonderful mother and native Dunedinite. Happy birthday, Sylvia.
Happy birthday to John. He loves going to jump circles, and pre-COVID he went all the time. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to James. His best birthday to date was last year when his beautiful wife and her friend got tickets to go see Billy Joel on his birthday. He made this shirt for the concert, hoping to get to sing with him. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Christina and Elizabeth. They graduated from USF together and are die-hard Rays fans. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Don't forget to send in them birthday shout-outs.
Before we hear our musical guest, Quick Nick's All-Star Jam Band, I want to thank Vinnie Luisi from the Dunedin History Museum, Robin Hedman in today's Art Corner, and the Mayor of Dunedin, Ward Bujalski, and of course you, wherever you are, for joining us this morning. Reach out to us on social media to share your story and birthdays. And please remember to be kind to one another and to stay safe out there. Caitlin.
Good morning, Dunedin. And go Bucks, let's win that Super Bowl.
And now the Quick Nick's Jam Band.